Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Brickfilm Academy. In this lesson we're going to be going over the Stop Motion Studio app that you can get on your phone and start animating. So we're in the new section right now of Brickfilm Academy, which is basic animation. And this is the fun part where you get to actually start taking action and creating your video. So obviously in this video we're going to be going over how to use Stop Motion Studio on your phone, whether you have an Android or an iPhone. I don't think it really matters, but we're just going to dive right into this so that we can show you, or so that I can show you, how to start making your own brick films. So to get the app, first what you want to do is go into your app store. I believe Google Play has it on there as well. And you're going to want to search up Stop Motion Studio. And it'll bring you to these two apps, Stop Motion Studio, which is for free, and then Stop Motion Studio Pro, which I believe is $9. As you can see, it says open on mine because I already have the app. But what you're going to want to do is download the free version, and then later down the road, if you really want to, you can purchase the Pro version. But in this video, we're going to be focusing on the Pro version of Stop Motion Studio. Now, before I even go in depth with the app, first off, I just want to say that you can use either a phone or an iPad. It really doesn't matter. Both are really great for stop motion animation, and the choice is really up to you. So once you successfully download the app Stop Motion Studio, what you're going to want to do is start setting up your lights, your set, all that great stuff we talked about in section 2, and get it all prepared to start taking action and creating your Lego animation. So now that your set and your lighting is all ready for your animation, what you're going to want to do is open up the app, and you'll get brought to this type of dashboard that has all these tabs on the left side with your home, a file folder, a light bulb, all these different settings, and then you've also got your create a new movie and this pre-made animation called Big Fish. So if you want to check out the animation, you can. It's nothing too special, just a little preview of what you'll be doing with this app. And depending on whether you have the free or pro version, you will have different options to do certain things. So without further ado, I'm going to cover that, and you're going to want to click New Movie. So after you click New Movie, you'll be brought to this page. We have a ton of different settings you can choose from, including this little plus icon on the left, a little gear, your camera, and a question mark. So first we're going to focus on this little plus icon on the left. So when you click it, it brings up 5 different options, including add images, title and credits, audio, clip, and file. So with add images, you're able to import any images from your camera roll into your timeline. You can do this with, different, I don't know, maybe transitions, like 5 hours later from like SpongeBob or something like that. You want to be creative, but you don't have to. You can just use the timeline from the app. It's really up to you. And then next you got title and credits. They provide you with tons of different titles and credit posters that you can use in front of your videos and at the end. And they've got some pretty cool presets that you can check out for yourself, and it'll make your video a lot more interesting to your viewers, as they can see what the video is going to be about before it even starts. And then next you got audio. Stop Motion Studio actually provides you with a whole library of sound effects, and they're pretty good. And if you want to check them out for yourself, you can. You just add them to your timeline, and yeah, that's it for the audio. With clip, this is also known as rotoscoping. So basically, you can import a video that's already on your phone or on your iPad, and bring it into the app. Each individual frame you can edit and make a cool effect with that. And lastly, you've got file, where you can import any of your files, like some music or some sound effects. So now that we covered the plus icon on the left hand side, now we're going to check out this gear icon in the bottom left. So basically, this first tab is your frames per second, and I went over that in the previous lesson about where you should set it. Next is your fades, where you can fade through each individual image. Next you got your aspect ratio with different ratios. I'd recommend 16:9 or the TikTok or like just phone screen ratio for uploading on your phone. Next is your foreground, where you can add cool little pictures on top of your images. Then the tab next to that is your filter. I'd recommend using a filter and setting it before even animating, so that all your pictures are that same filter. Next is your quality. I highly recommend using HD, which means high definition, or 4K, as it's really high quality. And lastly is your playback speed. So you don't have to select any of these. You can play around with them if you want to, but that's a little run through of all the different settings that you have before animating. So now it's time to actually start animating. So what you're going to want to do is click this little camera icon in the top right corner of your screen, and it'll bring you to this new page that basically consists of your animation and your set and everything you're going to be shooting. So just a brief little outline of what is on the screen. You've got this little timer icon right above the big red button, and when you click it, you can set how many seconds you want to set your timer at. And this is a great way to take images without touching your camera. And another way to do this, this has nothing to do with what's on the screen right now. You can use a headphone, the headphones that come with iPhone Apples, and you can basically just plug it into your phone and use a little microphone button on the headset and take pictures using that. So that's a great way to take some remote pictures without having to touch your camera, because the biggest thing when it comes to animation is not touching your phone or the camera, because you don't want shakiness in the final video. So make sure you're using some type of remote shooting so that you have no shakiness in your videos. So next, basically this big red button takes a picture. So if you click it, you get a picture, and there's a little bit to that. And then you got this little play button, so you can play what you've got on your animation so far. And then down here, you've got the, 3 little bars. And when you click it, you've got all of these different options now. So the first tab right here is your camera. You can choose camera or remote camera, like I was talking about a minute ago. But with this remote camera setting, what you can actually do is you can download another app on a separate device called Remote Camera. And basically, through that app, you can take control of the phone that's actually shooting the images. And by doing so, you don't have to touch the phone that's shooting images at all, and you have full control on the other device. So this kind of works hand in hand with that shakiness point that I made a few seconds ago. So it's a really great option and factor that you have if you have the Pro version of Stop Motion Studio. And then down here, you've also got rear and front. So if you flip it, you can see yourself, and then you flip it back, you can see the screen. So I would highly recommend just using the rear, because that's how you're going to shoot your shots. In this next tab, you've got the different camera modes. So there's auto. You've got, I don't know what this is. I think it's auto lock or something like that. And then you've got P, which I believe is portrait. And then you got M, which is manual. So for anything animation based, you want to make sure you're just using manual settings, because manual gives you full control over everything. And it's a great way to make your videos come out the way you want them to. So as you can see, when you click manual, you get all these different tabs that pop up. We're just going to go run through them real quick. So first, you've got your white balance, or just a different, I guess you could say not filters, but different lighting that you can get on your image. So as you can see, you've got auto, locked, incandescent, sunrise, fluorescent, daylight, overcast, and cloudy. And you can change these depending on what type of scene you're shooting. Typically, I like using the fluorescent because it gives off a nice little white color, and it makes your scene look really, really crisp and smooth. So you can play around with those depending on what type of scene you're shooting. Next, you've got your focus, and basically, when you drag this bar up and down, or side to side, you can drag whatever you want into focus and out of focus. So this is a really cool way to focus on certain subjects in your video. So I highly recommend you use that a lot when you're animating. Next, you've got your ISO. So basically, the lower the ISO, the darker the image, and then the higher the ISO, the higher and brighter the image is. But the only downside to the brighter the image, the more grain there could potentially be, which means more pixels that are going to pop up on your video. So I highly recommend, if you're shooting a small scene, shoot around 100, a medium-sized scene 200, and then a large-scale scene 400. If you want a really large scale, 800. So you can go anywhere through that range, 100 to 800, and still get really good quality images. Next is your shutter speed, and basically the faster the shutter speed, the less motion blur there is, and the higher the shutter speed, or the slower the shutter speed, the more motion blur. And if you drag it to slower, it's a little bit brighter, and if you drag it to faster, it's a lot darker. So you can play with that however you want. With shutter speed, it doesn't really matter too much with animation because you're just doing simple set images and you're not really moving the camera too much. So you can play with that a little bit however you want. Next is zoom. So basically you can drag this bar left and right to zoom in, or you can just pinch the screen and it does the same exact thing. Or you can just press the little tabs that have 1x, 2x, or 4x, and this will just zoom in for you as well. And then next you've got the green screen option. So if you click the green option, it'll basically chroma key and select all the different green properties in your image, and just get rid of them. And then basically after that you can select this next little tab over here and choose a different image to basically cover up for that green property that was in that image. So that's how you use green screen. Same thing really goes with blue screen. Anything blue in your image goes away, and then you've got the full background image that you want to use on this separate tab as well. So these little presets that you have for your green screen and blue screen are pretty cool. You've got like a little space theme, you've got underwater, you've got clouds, all these different things, and you can just play around with them. So that's that tab. And lastly, you have your rotate options. So you can either just keep it still, which I highly recommend. You don't really want to mess up your imaging too much. You just want to keep it nice and natural. But you've also got the flip horizontal, which is like a mirror. You've got the flip vertical, which is upside down, and then you've got the flip 180, which is also upside down. So like I said, just stick with the normal none option, and those are the settings you're going to want to know going into your animation process. So now that you got your settings all set, you can start animating. So when you're animating, you can use this little bar on the left side, and you can either drag it up and down, and basically what it does is it's called onion skinning. So it makes the shot that you're shooting, or the image that you're shooting right now, more transparent, so that you can see the previous image and match it up and sync it so that it's a nice fluent motion. So you can play around with that and test it out to see how smooth you can make your animations. So now that your animation is completed and you've got all the images you want, you are able to edit each individual picture as you wish. So by doing that, you're able to tap on the image and you get all these different options to basically edit your image. So you've got insert camera, where you can insert the camera on that timeline. You've got pause to pause the image or the recording that's going on. You got audio to add audio wherever that image is. You got edit to edit that individual image, and I'm going to go over that in a few seconds. You've got erase to erase the image. You've got merge, where you can basically merge pictures together, and I'm going to show you a little preview and tutorial on how to do that in a few seconds. Select to select the image. Cut to cut the image. Copy to copy the image, and so on. They're basically self-explanatory. So with the merge setting, you're able to merge your images together, and the way to do that is what you're going to want to do is tap on your image and click select, and after you click select, just drag, and I believe the maximum amount of images you're able to merge is 5. So then after you get your 5 images, you tap again and you click merge, and basically what this does, and it gives a nice little smooth animation of like a fade or like a motion blur, and it's a nice little addition for when you're doing like car shots or some type of action. So test that out however you want. There's a lot you can do with it. You just gotta be creative. So now next what you're gonna want to do is edit the image, and there's a lot of different settings you can do with this. So what you're gonna want to do to access it is tap the image once again and click edit. And now once you click edit, it basically brings you into a photo editor, and you've got tons of different options. As you can see on the right side, you've got this little plus icon. We can add a drawing, you can add text, add shape, add background, and add a face. So as you can see on the screen right now, I'm just going through all the different settings, including the drawing, text, shape, and background. And basically every time you select one of them, it creates a new layer on top of the image on the right side. So you can hold one of the images or one of the layers and drag to change what position they are in that stack. To edit each layer, all you have to do is click the little edit in the top right corner, and you have all the settings you can do for that layer. And lastly, a really cool feature that Stop Motion Studio offers within the app is the ability to add faces to your characters. So all you have to do is really tap the face icon when you click the plus, and you're able to basically edit the expressions of your character. You can rotate the face, you can change the mouth to different expressions depending on what they're saying or what they're doing. And then you can change their eyes depending on the character. You can also rotate the face clockwise, and then you can also change the opacity. So there's a lot of different settings that you can use with this feature that's included in this app, and it's one huge additional thing to this Pro version is that you can add expressions to your character's face. So saying that, down below in the description I do have a link to Stop Motion Studio Pro for only $5, and that's a discount of $4 compared to the price of the App Store, which is at $9. So if you want to get this discount, which I think is a huge opportunity for you to get this for just $5, check it out for yourself in the link down below. This is definitely my favorite stop motion app, as it has a lot of different options and features that can help you make high quality brick films. So that was a quick little rundown of the app Stop Motion Studio Pro. As you can see, it has a ton of different options and features that can allow you to make high quality brick films. So if you're a beginner, I highly recommend you check out this app as soon as possible and get started with your animations. In the next few lessons, I'll be going over how to actually animate and how to get different movements down to start making a smooth and fluent animation. So that's all I've got for this lesson, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one, and we can start animating.